Hello and welcome to Rich Rides. This week I'm riding the Honda Super Dream. This is a 110cc motorbike in Vietnam. It looks just like a Honda Cub really, and a bit of research, it looks like basically it's just a different version of the Cub. Things like the lights and stuff are different, but it's pretty much the same bike. So first of all, the looks of the bike. As I said before, it looks pretty much like a Honda Cub. The differences are the seat is one big seat instead of one small seat and another seat behind or storage behind. And that seems to be about it. It's got that sort of classic retro look. This is a 2016 model. They stopped making this particular bike in 2018. And that was then sort of superseded by the far more expensive 125 Honda Super Cub, as far as I'm aware. So as we're going over these bumps and things, I'll talk about suspension and comfort. The riding position is super comfortable, as you'd expect really. But one thing that is surprising is just how roomy this is. So if you see where my knees are here, then there's loads of room. On pretty much every other scooter I've ridden, you just don't have this much room. So that's surprising and really impressive. You have pegs like a normal motorbike, a foot brake on your right, gears on your left. It's actually a semi-automatic gearbox, and it's sequential as well. So you use your left foot to change upper gear, using your toe, and down a gear using your heel, and there's no clutch. So it's really strange when you first get on this bike because you don't know what to do with your left hand. Obviously on a scooter, which this sort of feels like, then you've got your rear brake there, but it's more like a motorbike. But of course there's no clutch because it's a semi-automatic. So yeah, so it's a bit strange the first time you get on not having to use the clutch. Other things to do with the comfort are suspension, which is actually pretty good. Yes, you'll feel it on bigger bumps, but sort of normal day-to-day riding it's absolutely fine. It soaks up the bumps nicely. The other thing it's got are really large wheels for a sort of scooter and moped, so it's got 17-inch wheels, so they really help in sort of rougher stuff. So a bit more about the engine itself. So it's a 110cc, it's a single cylinder bike, and it's pretty smooth. Air cooled, a fairly standard thing. Honda used this engine in lots and lots of different bikes. But it's a decent engine, decent amount of power. I think it's about 8 horsepower, something like that. So actually it's fine. And especially for what this bike's built for, which is going around town, then it's perfectly adequate. So one of the things that did surprise me about this bike are the brakes, because it has a front drum brake and a rear drum, and they work surprisingly well. So yes, they're not amazing, but for the speed this bike will be doing, they're absolutely fine and perfectly adequate. Like I say, I was really surprised when I saw it had a front drum, and it doesn't feel sort of underpowered or anything. So as far as switchgear is concerned and features, it's pretty basic as you'd expect. So on the left, just like normal, you've sort of got your indicators, horn, lights. On the right, you've got your main lights sort of on and off, and electric start, because it has electric start and a kick start. Your dashboard, again, super simple. You've got, thank you, You've got your speedo, odometer, fuel gauge, and it shows when you're indicating. There's also a neutral light, which is obviously useful, but really useful is this, you can see it's on now, is to show you that you're in top gear, because the thing about a sequential box is you keep going for another gear, and it's a sort of 4-speed. So it's good that they've got that, because when I first started riding I didn't notice that, and I was trying to change up when there wasn't another gear. So on to my usual positives and negatives. So on the positives, my 3 favourite things about it are, first of all, its looks. I think it looks a great sort of retro bike. You wouldn't think this was a 2016 bike. It looks a lot older, and that's basically because the design of these things haven't changed since they first came out in, when was it, in 1950s, was it? So that's quite cool. And they're typically in these sort of funky colour schemes as well. They're very retro. The second thing is just how easy it is to ride. It's extremely light, so it's very manoeuvrable. I think it only weighs 99 kilos, so it's not even 100 kilograms. So that makes it very, very easy to manoeuvre, especially in traffic. And if you're just having to move it around your driveway, something like that, then it's super easy. And the third thing is it's actually really good fun to ride. So that's a surprise as well to me. I now see why these bikes are so popular. So it's just fun. It sort of rides nicely, handles nicely, it just does everything well. So any negatives with the bike? I guess the only thing I can think of is lack of storage. On most scooters and things, then you have storage under your seat. On this there's zero storage under there. I guess that's the sort of payoff for having so much leg room, that you just don't have any under seat storage, because that's where the fuel tank and other bits and pieces sit. But yeah, I think that's the only sort of negative that I can think of, really. So in summary, what do I think? I think it's a great little bike, especially for round town. You wouldn't be going on any sort of mammoth tours, although I watched something the other night about a guy that went from Australia to London on one, so nothing's impossible with any bike, is it? But that's not what it's designed for. It is designed for round town, and it just does that job perfectly. A few cows just grazing. So yeah, as a sort of city bike, it works brilliantly. It's aimed at anyone, and just the number of these on the road here is just sort of testament to how good a bike they are. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that useful. If you did, then do give the video a like, ask any questions in the comments. If you're new to the channel, then do give it a subscribe. I've recently restarted making videos after a bit of a gap, and I've got a handful of other videos already sort of in the process. So again, thank you for watching, and see you again next time.